Hi everybody, your real estate expert Lance Moore. And today we're talking about how to buy a house. I'm going to talk about how you could get into a home in under 8 hours. So this is going to be one of my favorite videos I do. I love talking about this. I remember when I started in real estate, one of my first buyers I've ever worked with, we were out looking at homes. I remembered I showed them day after day after day. And we went out probably 6 times, spent maybe 4 or 5 hours each time looking at homes. And I said, there's got to be a better way. I have to find a way to get people into homes quicker. This isn't good for them. I know they're not enjoying getting into a car and being tied up looking all day for a house day after day after day. So what I did is I went back to the office. I really started to think, what's really important to people? What do people really want to look for? What do they need to know when finding a home? And I thought about it for a while. I started putting this together, and I put together a game plan that I've been using for years. And it saves so many people so much time. I remember I had a lady come into my office one time looking for a home with one of her friends, the top realtor in the city, for a year and a half. Within 4 hours, she found her perfect home. And what it is, it's a 2-step process. First, I want to say, real estate and looking for a home isn't that complicated. I think what happens is everybody just really tends to complicate the whole process, and sometimes you just need to take a step back, take a big breath, and really say it's not that hard. So here's the 2-step process that I go through. There's 4 questions, 4, when you buy a home you have to ask yourself. And when I'm talking to buyers and they come into my office and we're in our introductory, session, and we're talking to each other, we introduce ourselves, we sit down and we talk about what they're looking for. I always ask these 4 questions, and here's what they are. What's the minimum amount of square footage that you want in a home? And they might say, well, 2,500 square feet. And I'll say, great. Well, let me ask you a question. If that was, if it was 2,399 square feet, would you buy it? And they'll say, well, yes. And I'll say, okay, what's the minimum amount of square footage that you would want? And they'll say, well, 2,200. I'm like, okay, if it was 2,199 square feet, would you buy it? And they say yes. And I say, what's the bare minimum? I'm not trying to get you to look at homes in a smaller square footage, but the MLS is very exact when you enter it, just like any website out there. And what we need to do is we need to take what you're looking through. And you might be saying, I want to look through at homes in this range. What you need to do is you need to expand it, and then you need to contract it, because looking for a home is a process of elimination. So we go to the square footage. And I say, what year are you looking at? Well, I want to be 2008 or newer. Okay, would you go to a 2007? Yes. What's the oldest home? And then I'll start going down and I'll ask them, okay, what's the what area do you want to be in? Tell me the areas that you want to be in. And then they'll list their areas. They may say, I want to be in these 3 areas. And I'll say, okay, great. What's your favorite area? What's your number 1, your number 2, and your number 3? Or, maybe they only have 2 or they have 4. But you need to put them in a list of priority. And why this is important is because you don't want to be looking one day at your number 3 homes on the list in your number 3 area. Then all of a sudden, someone is buying your home that's in your favorite area. Well, you were overlooking at these. You don't want to do that. And this happens all the time to people. And a lot of times they might not even know it happened. So you want to be very focused. You want to have a game plan. And then I go and I say, well, what's the maximum amount of money you want to spend? And they'll say, well, we want to be at 260. And I'll say, okay, if you found the perfect home in the perfect area, it had everything you wanted in the home, and it was 261, would you buy the house? Yes. What's your highest price range? And they say, well, 270. And I do the same thing over and over again, and I say, look, it's not that I'm trying to talk you up in price or make you buy a home smaller than you want to be in an area where you don't want to be. I don't want to do this. But what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to let you look at everything out there. You could pull up and you could say, okay, I'll go up to 280,000. I'll go down to a year built, 1995, whatever it is. I'll go down to 2,000 square feet. And these are my areas. You don't have to look at those, but I want you to know those are available, because I don't want to go out and show you a home. And this is what happens with most people, with most real estate agents. And believe me, it happens over and over. And this is how I'm able to show and find people homes in a matter of hours. So what happens is they go to the real estate agent. A lot of times they don't even meet the real estate agent. They call them up online. They tell the agent what they're looking for. The agent's all giddy and excited, and they go out and they meet the people at the home. And then all of a sudden, they don't find what they want. So they go out another day, then another day. Then they start expanding their price. And then they do the same thing. And then they expand their price some more. And they do the same thing. And they start going to older homes. And they do the same thing. And the problem is, your perfect home in the perfect area, you might have missed, because you're like a gerbil on the treadmill. You're just going over and over and over. So you have to have a game plan. You have to expand and then contract. Example, when my wife and I were looking for homes, I told my wife, I woke up one day and I said, hey, we're going to go buy a home today. And she said, fantastic, I've been looking on the MLS. I have over 100 homes. I gave, I shouldn't say this, but I gave her access to my MLS because, we're married. And so she looked down and she said, I have 100 homes. I said, no, that's not what we're doing. I went through this exact step right here. And I said, okay. I said, this is what we're going to do. So I pulled up, say, 180 homes. I got her in front of me. Like all my clients I work with, I get them into my office, because this is a team approach. We have to be working together as a team, as partners. And it's my job to guide people and tell them what they need to do so they can make not only an intelligent decision, but a wise decision that doesn't take a lot of their time and their family's time. So we went from 180 homes to 65 homes to 30 homes. She looked through those 30 homes. She put them in a stack. Okay, now we did the 4-step process. Now we have to do the 3 critical elements. So here's the 3 critical elements. Number 1 is you have to like the neighborhood. Look, if you don't like the neighborhood, it's a non-negotiable. Do not buy the house. You can't change your neighbors. If you don't like the neighborhood, don't buy it. The second thing you need to do is you need to like the elevation, the way the house looks. Now, if you're buying new construction, first off, watch my new construction video. But if you're buying new construction, it's a completely different game, but you're going to pick your elevation. You don't need to like the house color, or if you're in an area where they have brick or siding, the siding or brick color, you don't have to like the lawn, or maybe it's all overgrown, or weeds, or the shrubs. You need to like the elevation, how the home, the roof pitch, the gables, how it looks, because you're not going to change that. And the third thing you need to do is you have to like the floor plan. Don't go into a home and say, well, it has 3 bedrooms. Just add a bedroom over here. Because you know what? You'll probably ruin the flow of the home, because when the home was built, the architect built it a certain way. Good or bad, they built it a certain way. So you have to like the floor plan of the home. So what we did is this. I gave everything to my wife, and I said, okay, here's the thing. You're going to pick the home you like. I have veto power. So if it isn't a home and I don't like it, and it's just there's something wrong with it, we'll move on. She said, okay. So what we did is we got up the next day, and she wanted to go look at all these homes. I said, no, what we're going to do is we're going to drive by all 15, and we're going to make sure we like the area and the way the home looks. Because again, I don't want to go out spending all day or hours, I should say, looking at homes, and then the pictures look real pretty on a line, and they're a great picture from the outside. Then I go by and I don't like the area, Or maybe it looked good online, but it's an ugly house, or I just don't like it. So what we did is we drove by all those 15 homes. Didn't take much time at all. Not even probably an hour and a half. Then I went back and I set up all the appointments. And we narrowed it from 15 down to 5. So I set up the appointments for the 5 homes. We went out to lunch. Then we went and looked at those 5 homes. All right, so here's what I did, is I took the 4 elements, I expanded them all the way out. All right, I was at 180 homes. Then I was at 65. Then I was at 30. Then I was at 15. Then we were at 5. So we went and looked at all those. Now I knew the bedrooms, the bathrooms, the square footage, the year built. I knew what the neighborhood was like. I knew what it looked like in the outside, the elevation. Because, some people, agents have been known to do this. Use old pictures when it looked a lot better. So I looked at all that. The only thing I was going in the home is I wanted to see the floor plan. So we went in. The 3rd home we walked in, I said, hey, this is it. We're buying this home. Now, we finished looking at the other 2 homes. We were done, start to finish, in less than 5.5 hours. And this is how I'm able to show buyers that I work with homes in a matter of hours instead of weeks, months, or years. Because a lot of times what's happening is the buyers are just doing it all wrong because the real estate agents are doing it wrong. The real estate agents don't have a game plan. They're sort of like what I consider an ant looking for food. They're all over the place. They're running all over the place. And they're driving you and your family all over the place. So if they don't have a game plan, give them this game plan. I mean, I've had people that have been looking for a year and a half find a home in a matter of hours. I had several years ago, they came to me. They were looking with the real estate agent for 4 days. They said, we have to find a home. I said, I'll find you one if you do exactly what I said. They came into my office at 9 o'clock in the morning. By 3 o'clock in the afternoon, with them having breakfast after they met me, they were in a home. They found a home they want. They lived in it for years. So it's about game plan. It's about doing the right thing. So I hope this helps you. And I know this is a very, very effective way to look for a home, and it works. Now, let me just say this. Different markets are different. So when we're in a seller's market, it could be a little bit harder because inventory is real low. If it's a buyer's market or an average market, it's going to be very easy to do this. But even when my wife and I, when we bought our home, it was a complete crazy seller's market. It still didn't take us any time at all. So I hope this helps. Please leave a comment if you like this or not, or have any questions. Give me a thumbs up, and if you like my video, subscribe. I wish you the best of luck, and don't forget, if you have any questions, just leave a comment below, and have a wonderful day.